Why do you believe all of this stuff? Because it doesn't have evidence. You want to say it has evidence. You feel like it does, but like we can go through it. I'll give you like resources to indicate that it's not true, and it seems like you just don't want to believe any of those resources.
And then I give you guys resource. I give you okay. Give me, but what you give me is what the Democrats put out. You don't understand, Parker. I'm telling you, they got you guys buffalo. They put out this stuff. They get ahead of the Republicans. When the Republicans, see, they didn't think they was ever going to get caught, and they didn't really think Trump was going to get back in this time. That's why they wasn't worried about getting caught with all their crimes they committed and corruption. We're talking over 50 years, Parker. The stuff he found out, it's coming out, honey. And I'm just trying to tell you guys, it is. I just want you guys to learn the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I believe you will make more money by, you know, learning, going back, and I mean, learning everything that Trump said he was going to do. And then, can't you understand why did they like him before he said, "I'm coming after you, Democrats and Republicans, and I'm going to expose you all for what you've been doing to this country for over 50 years." And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, get him for the Russia hoax. And they kept him tied up in the
Well,
courts for
I do just want to let you know that there were people on his administration that were identified to have been colluding with Russia. That's one thing. Secondly, as it relates to this, those particular reports also indicated that there was interference that Russia had, particularly within the elections. So, I mean, the investigations had their relevant aspects. Now, if Donald Trump just wanted to investigate the 2020 election, I would have been in support of that. But it wasn't just that he wanted to investigate the 2020 election; is that explicitly he denied the results, even though there were plenty of courts that indicated that he lost the election. And the issue is that you still follow him in that. You
okay,
believe
but
that he won
what
the
about
2020 election.
who was the judges in the courts? It was 234 progressives to make sure that Trump didn't win any of those cases, or that they wasn't even being able to be brought. They're like, oh, there's not enough evidence. Well, guess what? Those judges are getting busted for taking money. Those judges are getting busted for breaking the law themselves. Ain't you paying attention, honey? That's all I want. I want you guys just to look at all the stuff that's really going on and try and think logically. Okay, they never brought none of this up on Trump until he ran and said he's going to get them and expose them. Well, they ain't going
Okay.
down
So
that.
here's what it is. Essentially, you're not willing to accept anything that Donald Trump could have done that was wrong, because if it is the case that he is held accountable after the point in which he was running, you're just going to immediately write it off as, oh, he was calling things out, and you just immediately cut him off. That's all. That's the way that you're going to take it. So what you're already doing is you're creating an unfalsifiable claim, essentially, where like you will never be proven wrong that Donald Trump's always right, because you
No,
always
no,
have
no,
this
no,
particular
Donald
idea.
Trump. Let me tell you something. I don't like some of the things that Trump says or does. No, I'm not on board with him for everything. But I did feel that with what's going on in the world, what was going on, because Russia didn't make a move. Putin didn't make a move when Trump was in office. Because
Yes,
remember,
he did.
Trump sent that what do they call it, that mother bomb or something, over to them, and he said, "There's a new sheriff in town. Don't f with America."
So Donald Trump actually gave more power to Putin. Putin has invaded and bombed more of Ukraine since Trump got in office.
Now this time, but it was already started under Biden. But who went over and hit the reset button? What Democrat did that?
What do you mean?
Who went to Putin and hit the reset button? Why is it
You're
okay
talking
for
about Hillary Clinton
Democrats?
and like during the
Yes,
Obama
yes.
administration. I understand, yeah, but like what they learned from that was that Vladimir Putin was not willing to engage in peace negotiations in order to be able to like limit this from happening. So that actually
He,
justifies the
he,
Democrats' response after Putin invaded, because Putin wouldn't go to the table and try to negotiate or try to give up anything to the Democrats or to Ukraine. Putin wants to take the land, and you have to force Putin into submission because he's a murderous dictator.
well, we're not saying that Putin's a good guy, and Trump, I think, got upset with him this round too.
Yeah, because he's
You
not,
know,
because he
well,
realized
you
Putin was
think Trump,
manipulating him.
he's calling both sides, both of them, like children, fighting, bullying each other. He's like, it needs to stop. You know what I mean? Trump don't want no war. He wants peace around the world. You know,
Then why is he thinking
but
about
when
bombing
they're
Iran?
do what?
Then why is he thinking about bombing Iran?
I didn't know he was bombing Iran.
He was thinking about it.
Now we got to stick by Israel. That is the Holy Land over there in Jerusalem. We have to.
Wait,
They're
what?
our allies.
No, we don't. Because wait, actually, like here, wait. You understand that Israel has been committing a genocide and that they are actively advocating to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians without a right to return, and that specific people within the context of the Israeli government, particularly people like Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, and others of the such, have these radical positions insofar as that they want to literally wipe out Palestinians from the land.
Who started that? Who started that? And who backed Hamas? It was Iran.
Israel.
Is
Well,
who
well,
started
well,
it?
well.
No, they went in.
Iran did specifically support like Hamas. I wouldn't dispute that,
Right.
but
That's right. That's
but
right.
I
And
don't
who
think that
started
takes
it?
a
And
I
now
don't think
it's
that
gone
takes
so
away
far.
from anything that we just established.
And now it's gone so far. And what did what did Iran say? He said they wanted to obliviate. They wanted to
Obliterate.
blow Israel off the map.
That's
They've
actually
been
that's actually a made up thing. You know that Netanyahu's been saying that since 1992, and that's just wrong. He's been saying that they're about to have nuclear weapons and they're about to blow up Israel off the map, and there's no evidence indicating that. Literally none since the 90s.
Yes, there was. There was evidence, you guys.
No.
They had it, and that's why they didn't want to have nukes, dude. Why do you think they are so
No, no,
hostile?
no, 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 no. Let me
You dumbed
clarify,
it
Jill. Let
down.
me clarify. The times in which Netanyahu said that they were going to have nukes was not within the time period that they were going to have nukes. There were times, particularly probably within the past 15 to 20 years, that was likely going to lead towards the case, and that's why we had the nuclear peace agreement that Donald Trump pulled us out of. So, if anything, you'd be arguing that Donald Trump has led to the situation that we have right now because he's the one who originally pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement, which then provokes our response to then be violent or military.
And I know when that happened with Obama sending the what was it, 150 billion over to Iran to get them nukes going.
Iran?
Iran,
Iran?
Iran.
No,
Yeah.
wait. I don't know if the specific number, but the nuclear peace agreement was to limit them from producing nuclear weapons.
But it didn't.
It
It
did.
didn't.
It actually really did.
I know one thing. In God's word, He said, "I will bless those who bless Israel."
What
But
did
you
you
know
hear?
what?
Did you hear Charlie Kirk say that, Jill?
No, I read my Bible.
Okay, but I just want to let you know, Jill. Like, I understand you say that, but that you're also talking about a completely different country than what you're talking about today. I want to let you know that. Just because something is called by that name doesn't mean it is the case that it would be representing the same country that you'd be particularly referencing back then.
I'm talking
Secondly,
about who wants to just
Secondly, if you want to take some of that scripture, Leviticus 25:44 through 46, God says you can own people as property and pass them down to your children as inherited property for life. And in Exodus 21:20 through 21, God says you can beat people so long as that they are your property, right? Insofar as they recover after a day or two.
Old Testament. Old Testament. Come
Wait,
to the
wait,
New
wait.
Testament.
Aren't you just referencing the Old Testament?
No, no. Listen, we
Wait,
can learn from
didn't you just do that? What did you just what did you just say?
we
What
can
what wait,
learn
wait,
from
wait. What was that verse from?
it was the Old Testament. Leviticus.
No, I'm asking you. What was the verse that you particularly picked from?
Which one? What are you talking about now?
The one you were just saying. Said that. Did you hear that from Charlie Kirk? And you said no. I read it in the Bible.
Hold on. Oh, I will bless Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in, I believe, Isaiah, the New Testament. It's in the New Testament.
Wait. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up. I think I might be wrong on the book, but you can look up. Yeah, you can just look it up and it'll tell you.
Okay. I bless.
I will bless.
This.
Yeah, bless Israel.
Uh,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure it's
Isaiah is the Old Testament, but I don't know if
yeah.
she's reading correctly. It is Genesis. So that's definitely the Old Testament.
Okay. Well, that now, like I said, some things carry through, but it's God's world. We have to do what He says. It's His creation. He created us. We did not create
Okay,
Him.
Jill, I have a question. In 1 Samuel 15:3, God commands Saul and his men to slaughter the men, women, children, and infants of Amalek. If God commanded you to slaughter the men, women, children, and infants of Amalek, would you have done it?
Now wait a minute, because they are. Hold on. There was what are they called? The Nephilim. Do you know about the Nephilim?
Yes, I do.
It was a bloodline of some evil demonic. They were sacrificing their babies to freaking these handmade gods.
Okay, so because they were sacrificing the babies means we should slaughter the babies?
No, we need to. No, he slaughtered the big, those, and but it was the bloodline of their parents. Those babies, their bloodline. They, yeah, of their bloodline. It was just going to continue on, dude. It was just going to continue on. If he didn't, that would be like um,
Wait, so if God teleported them to a different point in history, it still would have happened?
I don't know how I can't explain everything. Just like God says, we're not
If
going to.
and if it was the case that they had to have been eliminated, wouldn't it have been preferable to poof them out of existence by snapping like Thanos rather than like having people murder them?
He's God. You know what? Maybe you can answer that question when if you make it to heaven. Well, everybody's going to go to heaven, but not everybody gets to stay. But if you get to stay, you can ask him that question. You know what I mean? Because he said we're not some mysteries. There's a mysteries that God says we will not know while we're here on this earth. And if we want to ask when if when we make it to heaven, he will. We got eternity to learn it.
Here, but the point is that I'm saying is that you literally, if God commanded you, would have to kill the men, women, children, and infants of Amalek. So are you saying that you would kill those infants? Would you do it yourself? Would you slaughter those infants?
Back in the day, if God told me to, well, he's God. You would have to do what he said. You know?
Okay, Jill. So you don't think that's the devil whenever you hear slaughtered children?
Well, it's evil. That's the devil.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Do you think
slaughtering. You're
slaughtering
slaughtering. You're not
you're
getting it. You're
slaughtering the devil?
slaughtering. Yes, that's
That's
the
crazy.
bloodline of the
The infants
devil.
were the devil, chat. You're slaughtering the devil. You know what?
Yes.
Every insane person throughout history has said that. They had this thing that they had from God. God told them to slaughter these people that they thought were the devil or thought were like demonic spirits. That's a huge justification that's been used throughout history to like slaughter people, right?
No, I think they just used that. No, they just wanted to do it. They just wanted to kill people. It's no, they just use that. They use God, and you can't do that. No,
What do you
today,
mean?
no, today it's called murder. That's why Jesus came and died for us and put them 10 commandments up. Thou shalt not kill. The original said thou shalt not murder because people will kill on accident in car wrecks. You know what I mean? Maybe someone.
Yeah, but God commanding Saul and his men to murder the men, women, and children and infants of Amalek. Isn't that murder?
That would be murder, but
So God's commanding you to commit murder.
to commit. Well, but he's cutting off a evil bloodline.
So you're saying that God could command you to sin?
God does whatever he wants.
God is all good.
Very-
Sins are bad. It is literally impossible if God is all good to command you to sin. That is like actually impossible.
Well, that's why he sent Jesus. He wasn't satisfied with what was going on.
Wait,
so
wait,
he
that
just-
doesn't make any sense. That's not a response to the contradiction imposed by an all good being doing something that's bad by commanding evil.
Well, hey, wait a minute. He also says I'm a jealous God. If you want to do something against me, buddy, you're in trouble.
So it's justified for him to slaughter infants because he's jealous?
Well, you know what? You all don't mind murdering his babies today, so I don't know what to tell you there. You know,
Say it again?
you guys don't mind murdering babies today, in this new age.
We're talking about prior to the point of sentience. There's no subjective experience. We're talking about the babies. There's a subjective experience the babies go through.
That's
why I brought up the scenario where God could snap them out of existence like Thanos.
Well, they were sacrificing their own babies, so
then slaughter the babies. So because they were killing the babies and sacrificing them, we should also do that.
No, not now. No, because Jesus came and died for that. No, he don't even want us slaughtering animals, except the ones to eat. He don't want us sacrificing animals anymore to cover our sin, the blood to cover our sin. He don't even want that anymore. That's why Jesus is a perfect sacrifice.
Okay.
He gave himself for us.
Jill, let's go back to the reality real quick. Can you give me like 2 Trump policies you like, Jill?
Like I said, I like the pet that where it's a felony if you harm animal.
No, like policies that are uniquely supported by Trump and not supported by the other side.
Is that you made me lose my train of thought. Is that a policy where he's cutting like food stamps for people that don't deserve them that can get out and work? That's taking advantage, or where I'm going to say undocumented. are getting
That's
out.
one of his policies. That's the big beautiful bill, but that's not even what we were referencing. But we can talk about that. Like he's cutting Medicaid by 880 billion over the next 10 years, and food stamps
Yes,
by 300 billion.
yes, by those who are they're fraudulent. You know, I've known people that get their daggone food stamp card. They have a bunch of kids. They live in the the townhomes here. Some of them, and they're nice. I can't
So,
believe they let
so,
them in.
so to clarify, you
They
want people with lots of children to have less social services to support them.
No, no, they keep having the children because they're like, heck yeah, that's more money on from the government.
Isn't
That's
that
more.
what you want? Don't you want to incentivize there to be more children by doing that?
If you can't take care of them, don't depend on hardworking people to take care of them and feed them. Okay, if you
Okay.
can't feed them yourself, don't have them. If you
Okay.
can't
So
take
then
care of them,
you don't agree
just
with the
like
child
animals.
tax
If you
credit.
can't take care of an animal, don't get them.
Okay. So given that they've already had the children, would you let the children starve?
No, you don't want the children to starve. Get
Obviously,
your
obviously
big
you
butt
feed the
out
children,
and
right?
work. Get your
So,
big
so
butt
I
out
have a
and
question. I
work.
have a question. Would Jesus cut food stamps?
Yes, he would.
No, say that with a straight face. Look at the camera and say Jesus would cut food stamps.
I can't say. I don't know. I can't really say. He's
You said
Jesus.
he would.
Probably feed him anyway.
So Jesus dropping manna from the sky for free. Yep,
Probably.
definitely wouldn't support free food, you know?
But there's good and evil in everything. And okay, if you look down the side what Satan has, he's got that good sex outside of marriage, and he's got making people feel good, and alcohol, and smoking cigarettes and pot. He's got poverty for them people, and being out on the streets, and then you look at God, and he's got wealth and health and um, just joy and peace and happiness. And Satan has nothing but sickness and just the opposite. Everything of God, Satan's just the opposite.
Oh, I
You
don't know.
know, you
I feel pretty good right now.
well, he does lie to people and it's only fun for a minute.
No, no, it's not. No. I feel good right now.
Yeah, right
You
now,
said like, yeah. What about it?
right now, right now. But if you keep doing this and lying to people and deceiving them, it's going to get rough.
I'm not lying.
I know people have brought the truth to you, Parker, over and over again, proof. And
Oh,
you will just turn around and take what the Democrats threw in your face. Here's what, if they say this, here's your proof. And they'll give you fake charts, they'll give you fake numbers. They're coming out and saying the economy was a mess under Biden and Trump's got to get it
wait.
straightened out.
Based on what indicators?
Do what?
Based on what indicators?
I don't know. I just heard that. I just heard someone
You
saying,
you
"Look,
just heard it.
yeah."
Do
They
you,
said the,
do you think just
this
hearing it is good enough reason to believe it?
economist said people ain't looking at the real numbers of the Biden administration. He had people believing we were doing great.
Actually, well, we did have GDP increasing, real GDP increasing practically every single quarter.
Fake numbers, just like he
They
tried.
they are not fake numbers. You are just lying.
No, no. See, how do you know? Prove that they were real.
The
You're
Bureau of you
on.
can look at them on the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Yeah, yeah. Who put them numbers up there? The
The
Biden,
the
the
Bureau
Biden
of Labor
administration. Yeah,
Statistics.
they're the ones who work and get their pockets padded. Yeah. Look how many people made it rich off of the Biden administration and the Democrats. That's why they're fighting to stay in. They're not going down without a fight. I'm telling you right now. That's why they tried to
Wait.
unfly
Who
Trump.
made it rich under the Democrats? How'd they make it rich?
Oh my goodness, the Pelosi's and everybody under the Democrats are and the Bidens. Are you serious? Look at the money those people got. All
Yeah.
of them Democrats
What money? What money are you referencing?
and them, but some Republicans are too. They're
Wait,
bad.
just tell me what money are you referencing? Wait, I have a question. Do you think market manipulation is bad?
Yeah.
So, if you think that market manipulation is bad, do you agree that Donald Trump engaged in market manipulation when he explicitly told people like now is a good time to buy?
I don't know about that.
He
But
literally
if he did,
he posted on social media, now is a good time to buy, right before he paused the tariffs. That's market manipulation.
oh well, I don't agree with that.
Oh, okay.
If he did that, I don't agree with that. Like I said, you guys don't get it. I do not agree with everything that he does.
Wait, Jill, I have a question. Can you tell me there's something that he could do specifically that would make you not support him?
Say something against Christ, but he don't. He says we need to get this country back under the will of God and out from the will of man.
So like if he wasn't a Christian, for example.
Um, if he did something stupid by pulling us into a World War III.
No. So you're saying if he wasn't a Christian, then you wouldn't support him?
If he wasn't a Christian, well, I mean, I don't even know if he really is. I just know that he says he loves Jesus. When people said, "You're the most popular man in the whole wide world," he goes, "Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't put me in that category." And they're like, "Who is it?" He said, "Jesus Christ. Don't even say that about me." Yeah, stuff like that. So, but some people say he's not a Christian.
I just want to clarify. If he wasn't a Christian, would you support him?
Well, I didn't know that he was a Christian when I did.
So then, yes, you would.
At the time, I thought that he would be better because the way the country was headed, he would be better to handle the situation better. You know what I mean?
Okay, I understand. By doing what? You don't like answering questions.
I'm telling you that. I'm telling you, I just felt he was better for the job right now. That's all.
Okay, who would have God voted for? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Oh, Donald Trump.
Why?
Because I believe this you guys don't understand. It's not just physical; it's spiritual.
Yes, God would have voted for the.
He's not. He's not a.
He literally is.
And even on the thing, it says that he was not a. It wasn't checked, but it was checked under an essay.
I have a question: Is forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will?
It's SA, but
wait. To clarify, so you don't think So to clarify, you don't think forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will is?
No.
No, she doesn't think that's right.
It's sexual assault. But listen, you ain't listen.
I'm confused. What's the difference between sexual and?
Well, he puts himself in her, his bottom part.
So if he uses his fingers, then it's not rape.
No, that's foreplay. They actually call that foreplay. And
you call someone with fingers foreplay?
With foreplay. I mean,
Jill. I'm sorry. Foreplay is consensual, right? Don't say that's consensual when we're talking about someone getting literally when they're getting violated against their will.
They're proving she's a liar, and she's getting in
she was
trouble
not. She was not a proven liar. You're making that up, Jill.
She's getting sued. Hold on.
Jill, you're making that up. She's not getting sued for lying.
Hold on. Prove it.
Donald Trump already tried to do that, and the judge said yes, he's a racist, and said that she can say that.
Okay, prove it. Bring it up.
There was the court case.
Bring it up.
Trump liable essay AP News.
Bring it up that he is a. Bring it up.
Trump liable essay AP News.
Bring it up.
That's what the judge said. Look up judge.
Put me on the big screen. Now you're calling that, so that's on you. Bring it up.
Would you accept that the judge saying Trump is?
No, because he's getting in trouble for packing his pocket.
So then, okay? Then I'm confused.
Let me just see what one you're talking. Wait, if it's Mershon, is it Mershon? Juan Mershon?
You don't even know, do you?
Oh no, I know which one it is. It's that goofy looking when they put the cameras on him. He goes.
No, it's not Mershon.
Yeah, it's that gray-headed goofball.
What's his name?
Hold on.
It starts with a K.
Crazy with a K. Just kidding. I forget. There's been so many court cases. Hell, I can't keep up. I'm 64 years old, dude. You know, my mind ain't like it used to be.
You're the same age as my parents.
Well, they must have took better care of themselves. I didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's a bit ridiculous. Come on. What do you mean? You are smart enough to realize that Donald Trump is a horrible human being. Like you just genuinely listen. Wait, Jill, I want you to listen. Jill, I want you to listen. I do think you are smart enough to realize that Donald Trump is a horrible human being. I just think that you are so misinformed and propagandized into believing that he's such a good person and that everyone else is just lying, and that regardless of the amount of evidence they show you, you're not willing to believe otherwise.
I don't, like I said, you guys, I agree with...
Let's clarify this then. Again, can you give me like a set of actions you could engage in that you would consider so bad that you wouldn't support them? Like maybe this. Would you vote for him if he were held civilly liable of a child?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would not vote for him if he did that with a
Oh,
child.
you wouldn't. Okay. So what's the difference between the victim being an adult and the victim being a child? That means that you would support him and vote for him in one scenario, but not the other, because both of them would be civil cases.
Well, see, you guys, I'm getting two different stories. You guys, your side is saying she proved her case, and his side is saying he didn't. Your guys has 243 judges, progressive judges. Who do you think they're going to root for?
Jill, all I'm saying is to put it on the same basis as every other civil case. I gave you
You,
another example of a civil case where the victim's a child, and in that specific scenario, the victim being a child, right? You would say that you wouldn't support Donald Trump if the victim were a child, but if the victim were older, then you still would support him, regardless in this of the
if I
scenarios,
believed it,
even
I
though there's the
wouldn't.
same level of
Wait,
evidence.
wait, wait. If I believed it, I would not. I don't believe he did because I've listened to this woman. I've listened to her.
What's her name?
E. Jean Carroll.
Okay,
I
so
listened to her. She was,
what did she say that was wrong?
when I get this money, I'm gonna, when I get this, well, first she's like this. When I get this money, I'm gonna help other women that's gone through this and yada yada. When she was on whatever name's show, she's like, what are you gonna do with all that money? She goes, I'm gonna buy you a condominium and I'm gonna buy you your. I didn't hear one thing about her gonna help others.
Because you didn't listen. She specifically did, or you didn't listen at all. You didn't actually take in any information or any research specifically on what she did with the money. All you did was look at that one interview that's been literally looked at by every single Republican, that then took that to assume that she specifically, because she was making a joke. I think she was like saying she would buy someone a house or something, right?
Yeah.
That's one.
And
She
then
won
what about
she won the money. She can do whatever the she
she
wants
don't
with that
got that
money
money? She don't
because
got that money. She ain't
because
got.
because she can do whatever the hell she wants to do with that money. So even if she did say that specifically meaning that, I would still support that. But she
Okay,
didn't say that meaning that. In terms of the standard of evidence, both cases I gave you have the same standard of evidence. They're both civil cases. They both have the same likelihood of being true. In one scenario, the victim is a child. In the other scenario, the victim is E. Jean Carroll. Given that those are the only two differences between the cases, right? Would you say that you'd have a difference in the way that you view them? Like, would you say that in the scenario with the child that you'd vote for him still?
No.
Okay,
It's
so
a
then what's the relevant difference
if,
between the two scenarios?
if I felt it was true. Now with a child, I would definitely believe a child, but a full grown woman that's done and said different things and got caught in lies and stuff, I don't believe her.
She
And her
wasn't caught
best
in lies.
friend, her best
She
friend.
wasn't caught in lies.
That's
Also, again, you didn't listen. I said that given that they have the same probability of being true. So we're assuming in this
I
particular
wouldn't vote
condition,
for her.
there's the
I wouldn't
exact
vote.
same probability of it particularly being true. And
No,
given
I wouldn't
that there's the
vote.
same probability in the case with the child and E. Jean Carroll, right,
I wouldn't.
of it being true, then you cannot dispute based upon the likelihood of it being true or you thinking that she's a liar.
I wouldn't vote for him if I felt it was true.
You would vote for him if you were held civilly liable of sex a child, given the same standard of evidence that we have in the E. Jean Carroll case.
I would not vote for him if he did that to a child.
Even given the same standard of
I
evidence
wouldn't,
against E. Jean Carroll?
and I wouldn't vote for him if he did it to an adult. If I felt he did it to an adult, I wouldn't
Okay.
vote for him.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so
This scenario, child or adult.
can you tell me where E. Jean Carroll was a
Bird dogs or whatever it was. And guess what?
bird dogs?
Bird dogs or whatever it was. I don't know. What is it? Do you know where it was?
Yes, Bergdorf Goodman. So you don't know.
Bergdorf. Okay.
You don't know.
Okay.
One, two, as it relates
Well,
to this. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, if you can't mention basic things about the case, then obviously that would make me think
I
that
just
like you
can't
don't know
remember the
enough.
name of them.
Bird dog. Are you serious? That's an alcohol brand.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I don't know. I just heard that somewhere. Or maybe I thought I heard that. I don't know. But did you see the CSI segment with the same exact scenario where the woman went in the dressing room up on the second floor and nobody was there but just her and this rich guy went in? The same, they said She got that off of there, and her friend is the one who pointed him that out to them. Her best friend, which they're no longer best friends. I wonder why. I wonder why. Did she expose E. Jean Carroll? Shame on that woman. Hmm. Hmm. She shouldn't have exposed her in that, using that segment to get Donald Trump.
I'm good. I'm done. I agree. All right. Michael, go ahead.